Warning, the following program contains a lot of spoilers. Like a lot. Proceed at your own caution.
You are not my boo-boo.
I am your boo-boo.
You are not.
I am.
You are a fucking sociopath.
The only reasonable response I have for you is, fuck you. I am a queen. I will make this world better, and I am not to be fucked with.
How are your balls, by the way? You tasted blood yet? Ah!
You're spiteful! I made you special! Ronte, and you're too selfish to know how good you've had it!
There it is. There it is, Joe. That's the real you. You pathetic misogynist.
It's been a couple months since one of Netflix's most coveted shows took its final bow and had its last curtain call. And every day of those months is a day that I thank the good Lord, because this show was on its last limbs. You was one of the few pre-pandemic shows that lived to see the light of day in a post-COVID era. The Caroline Kepnes, I hope I'm saying that right, the Caroline Kepnes book adaptation had its debut on Lifetime, but after being given the classic boot following its first season one, the show found a new home on Netflix right before production on its second season kicked off. It amassed global recognition in ways that were unfathomable on its previous network. This being amounted to the huge reach that Netflix had, because if you haven't noticed already, Netflix is a pretty big deal. You became one of the most successful shows on the platform, but just like most long-running shows on streaming platforms, you fell victim to corporate greed, and the writing, it was looking rough. It was looking pretty rough.
Aw, boo-boo. Every minute you starve me, I get hotter. Congrats on getting me in your cute little box. But make no mistake, boo-boo, you were the hostage here.
Huh?
By its fourth run, the term running on fumes would imply that we were still dealing with the 20th century working vehicle. This was prehistoric. For the last seasons, the showrunners were just Flintstoning it and yabba dabba doing it straight to the bank, because clearly no one cared anymore. Over its tenure, the show had found a formula which it recycled for the rest of its seasons. Formulas aren't inherently bad, and they clearly work. You get the point. TikTok, algorithm, formula, yada yada yada. But for global smash hits such as You, this formula eventually started to make the show feel like a parody of its earlier seasons. There's many reasons why You doesn't work as a show that lasted as long as it has. Had it ended earlier, these flaws wouldn't have mattered as much because it was still entertaining. Reese isn't real. Oh my gosh, the character that Joe only interacted with in private, who was also never seen interacting with other people in a show where the narrator is a psychopath, turned out to be a figment of his imagination.
I'm shocked! This is shocking news! Shocking!
Wow, didn't see that one coming. Another thing that's caused a decline in the quality of writing is the fact that after season 3, which was still loosely based on the books, the showrunners just decided to chuck the source material out the window and just go on vibes. They're not the first adaptation to do this. The Walking Dead and The Boys are vastly different from the source material. I've been reading the Invincible comics and I've noticed some differences between the comics and the show as well. But these creative choices can be justified when certain storylines don't translate well in a different medium, or when writers genuinely feel justified in changing a character's arc in a way that feels natural. But these guys just said, F it, let's make him go to London and make him a lecturer at one of the most prestigious universities in the world. With the overwhelming urge to top their greatest hits, the success and fan reception of the season 2 plot twist most likely pushed production to look for their next big hurrah. But the thing is, when you have a lunatic interacting solo with a character that no one else is mentioning nor has interacted with, and you give your audience a whole month to contemplate all the obvious clues in anticipation for this obvious reveal, that streaming model is absolutely ridiculous and it's insane they haven't dropped it even after all the backlash. Maybe that idea isn't as genius as you thought it was after all, and neither was the execution.
Where is Marianne? I don't know anyone called Marianne. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I wish you would stop acting.
No thank you. This shouldn't have happened. This didn't need to happen. Stick to the books next time. Thank you, next. The man pulls the girl of his dreams every single time. He's not that interesting, so how does he get the girl every single time? This doesn't affect the quality of the storytelling at all. It's just a pet peeve. Joe's had many a relationship, because that's his whole thing. But there's a general consensus among the youth fans that only one of those women stood out. We first met Love in season 2. Joe had moved to California after his very messy breakup to start afresh, where he first met Love at a grocery store. A few exchanged words, and the TikTok filter later, she became his latest fixation. Unlike Beck, who he had to make an extra bit of effort to stalk, he was lucky enough to find that Love lived right across the street from him. So instead of being a perv in the middle of the street, he could be a perv in the comfort of his own home. He could count himself double lucky because he also started getting a little flirty with his cute neighbor Daniela. His little next door fling aside, it comes as no surprise that him and Love grew closer and formed a romantic relationship. So here's a little bit of a backstory about Love. Love and her younger brother 4, yes, that was his actual government name, spent most of their childhood on their own because their parents were always out to get some milk. This meant she had to step up as a parent to her brother and basically raise him. Naturally, she became someone who's extremely protective and nurturing towards people she cares about. This translated well in her relationship with Joe. They fall in love fast. I mean, there's 10 episodes a season, so of course we have to greatest woman.
You alright? Huh? You okay?
And she was everything he'd ever wanted in a girlfriend. Joe was living the dream life he'd always envisioned for himself, until his dead ex came back. Not her. Her. This is Candace. We saw glimpses of Candace and Joe's relationship in season 1, and it's alluded to that she died. But in season 2, we find out that he didn't really get the job done. This was actually revealed in the season 1 finale. My bad, y'all, my bad. And just when Joe was settled into his new life in Los Angeles, we as the viewers found out that Candace had also relocated to the City of Angels.
Want to know how I found you?
I would love to hear.
When I first set eyes on my new dreamy beau.
Of course, your brother destroyed my life.
He's such an idiot, and I keep watching, and no, couldn't be.
Greatest woman. You alright? Huh? You okay?
She finally confronted him towards the end of the season. Luckily for her, she confronted him right when he was standing over his cute neighbor Daniela's body. Well, now she's just a dead neighbor, come to think of it. Despite having Daniela's blood all over his hands, Joe vehemently denied having unalived her.
It was just a matter of time.
This isn't what it looks like. I didn't do this.
Oh, bunny.
And like a twisted reunion of all his past hookups, Love came right into the picture. Candace and Love had actually met earlier during the season, where Candace had warned her off Joe, but Love was like, bitch, shut the fuck up. And it was in that moment that Candace was like, bitch, I told you so. Then Love stormed off like, y'all some crazy motherfuckers. I'ma throw up. Then she went and Candace was like, go, you good? And in a don't blink or you miss it moment, Love stood up, pivoted, and drove a broken bottle right into Candace's neck. Yeah. That literally happened. Love went back to set Joe free, and he questioned her about Candace's whereabouts.
The old Taylor can't come to the phone right now. Why? Because she's dead.
Huh? Love also revealed that she'd planned every interaction they ever had in the early stages of their relationship, from their first interaction at the grocery store to them living across the street from each other.
And then I saw you. I knew right away. In my gut, I recognized something in you. And hey, smart, sexy, funny. A little darkness that made you less storybook, more real.
We also found out that she'd known about Joe's eccentric hobbies for a while, and she admired him for them.
You're crafty and earthy, and it must be said you bring out genius.
And this is when she also revealed that in an attempt to protect his plans or whatever, she got rid of cute dead neighbor Daniela too. When Joe heard all this, he fell even deeper in love with her. He knew he'd found his equal. It would just be the two of them against the world, and no one would ever Nah, I'm kidding. He was absolutely horrified. Sanctimonious prick. Victoria portrayed his portrayal of a psychopath who would do anything and everything to protect her own was absolutely captivating, and her response to facing rejection from her partner, who would later become her husband and the father of her child, was so crushing. The woman just wanted to be loved. She was everything Joe was, but in a different font.
I started to question every single thing about myself.
Netflix, Prime, Apple TV, Paramount Plus, HDTV, I do not care. Whatever streaming platform there is out there, please cast Victoria Perditi again as a serial killer psychopath. She absolutely killed this role. I am astonished. She deserved all the awards. She deserved an Emmy. She deserved an Oscar. She deserved the universe for this performance, okay?
I'm not the problem. My husband is the problem.
I also loved her in Blind Manor, so if you get the chance, please go watch it. Their relationship could have been a modern Bonnie and Clyde tragedy with their final showdown in the season 3 finale. I know nothing about Bonnie and Clyde, so if that comparison was a little off, please don't come for me. All the flaws in You would have been easily ignored and not so noticeable had the show just wrapped up after 3 seasons and called it a day, bruh. So let's get this straight. This guy moved 3 different times to 3 completely different locations. One of those locations was Europe, which he escaped to after somehow fleeing the country and faking his death in the season 3 finale. For anyone curious how he pulled it off, he burned down his suburban home with his wife's body inside and severed his own toe to leave behind as forensic evidence to confirm his death.
Wait a damn minute.
Everywhere he lived, people dropped dead like flies, and somehow the police just failed to connect the dots on all those mysterious disappearances. Dots that, may I add, literally everyone else in the show connected. It wasn't Candace's first instinct to track down her murderous ex after he tried to kill her. She literally went to the police right after. She told them everything that happened to her, and for some reason, they didn't believe her. I know what you're thinking. Well, if they didn't believe her, why didn't they just ask her to take them to the woods where Joe bashed her head in and buried her? Surely forensics could recover DNA from that location.
I mean, isn't there any DNA where he buried me alive?
This isn't CSI. All right, we're in Putnam County.
Somehow, the law enforcement in the show was more useless in the last season. What made season 5 so different from other seasons is that there were multiple points where people who are not the police either had access to Joe's past crimes and or just pieced together the long trail of bodies that appeared anytime he moved to a new location.
Recently, I've been looking into everything he's done, and I've discovered things that he hadn't told me. Like the fact that he cheated on his last wife with a woman who has since gone missing.
I mean, Bronte laid all this out to the police when she was interviewed after Joe unalived her friend on TikTok Live. I'm not even joking, that actually happened.
Oh my god!
What the is this?
Our friend Clayton, he's dead, and Joe Goldberg killed him. The world needs to see this before TikTok takes it down.
Oh yeah, I forgot. This is Bronte, Joe's latest obsession in the series. Her real name actually wasn't Bronte, thank God. It was actually Louise. Louise and Joe met at Mooney's when she was snooping around at night as a devoted fan of the literary arts. However, we later found out that she hadn't been snooping around at all the night they met. She actually came to spy on him because she knew who he was, because she was one of Beck's friends from university. Nah, I'm kidding, I actually didn't care. It was sometime after they were last together that Bronte found out about Beck's suspicious passing. While looking into her death, she bumped into a group of people online that were doing the same, one of whom happened to be Clayton, aka the guy who got axed on TikTok Live, RIP. The small group of vigilantes banded together to find out everything they could about Joe, including missing persons, moving locations, and changed identities.
We had this idea that Joe had fooled a lot of people based on years of chasing down rumors and social media posts and news archives.
And for some outlandish reason, the detective didn't think this was a good enough motivation for a federal investigation.
Phoenix has burned a new hole in the ozone layer trying to get potential witnesses to talk. We know about Ron, what's his name? Joe's neighbor who disappeared. We know about Beck's ex.
We learned Joe died in California, was killed by his wife, but then...
Clayton was convinced that Joe is this guy who kills all the women that he falls in love with.
You know, given that a few nobodies with iPhones and a Wi-Fi connection found all those compelling trails and clues, surely a federal organization could easily look into these claims, right? I mean, that's the next sensible step in this story, right? Nah, they just let him go and never saw her again. When all else fails, we could always rely on Gen Z's most prominent form of justice, cancel culture.
Hi, sisters!
After Joe got away with murder, friend A and friend B, I forgot their names, posted a video on TikTok, going into surprising detail about the 12 bodies Joe left in his wake every time he moved to a new postcode.
Joe Goldberg is a serial killer. Candace Stone, Benjamin Ashby III, Guinevere Beck herself.
How could they know?
That's a very good question, Joe. How did they know? Somehow, the Cancel Joe bandwagon suddenly turned into a nationwide movement with random people popping up and exposing Joe using information that conveniently was never mentioned until this point.
Joe Goldberg killed both my babies.
That psycho absolutely killed my best friend, Peach.
He was my professor at Darcy, and I definitely thought there was something suspicious about him. Besides his fake name, he was always cancelling class early. To do what? Kill people?
Ron Baker, who's a probation officer in New York City, who has been a missing person since 2019.
Which again pulls into question, how in the world did the police, or FBI, or CIA, or MI6, or literally any triple acronym organization in existence not catch on to any of this? Why have we decided that Katie and a few young adults should be the ones capable of digging up Joe's past? I can't stand just how little the writers and the showrunners care to make the rules of this show make any sense. The more I think about it, the more frustrated I get. The amount of plot armor Joe had was borderline cartoonish, and this perfectly aligns with the next major problem, and probably my biggest gripe with this series. I'm sorry, but this man was not smart enough to get away with the amount of he had. He had way too many close calls and way too many slip-ups to warrant getting this lucky this many times. He bludgeoned Peach to death in a very public park in very broad daylight. He kidnapped and drugged Marianne in a very public space in very broad daylight. Well, the man has an invisibility cloak, so of course no one saw it. He held Marianne hostage in the busy London city centre, and somehow no one grew suspicious of the man going in and out of an abandoned building on a daily basis. Every murder he committed was a forensic and investigative goldmine, because not only did he not care about leaving DNA evidence, if the writing in this show even bothered to be 20% less insulting to the viewer, this guy's face would be on every CCTV within a 10-mile radius. That cap was flippin' ridiculous. It served no purpose whatsoever, and the more I look at it, the more it pisses me off. Something worse than the writing in the last season has to be the dialogue. I don't know what it was about needing to pander to Gen Z a little more this season, from internet slang to meme culture references, but the way the language was shoehorned into the season felt so unnatural. Some of the phrases don't even exist.
Hop off, fam.
Delulu.
Maybe she'd understand. Help fix it, as you would say. Delulu.
All the best romance novels feature a morally gray dude who will beast out to protect the one he loves.
Beast out.
Yeah, I like that. And this is that moment. The time, as you'd say, to beast out.
Oh, man. Being in here has really done a job on you. You're really in your country, aren't you?
He's a 10, but he wants to kill you.
Did you catfish me?
As they'd say, highly sauce.
You're not getting it. It's not clocking to you. It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it?
I have to say, one of the biggest missed opportunities in this show was fully leaning into Joe being a villain, instead of this recycled, reformed Joe that we got every season, where he'd constantly reset into some weird form of a flawed hero. The 8th episode of season 4 stood out as one of the best episodes of the series, in my opinion, because we got to see Joe for who he really was, since the episode was set up from Marianne's perspective. This was where it really dawned on me that Joe was truly and irrevocably evil, whether that be by his own making or due to the trauma he experienced as a child. We saw more of this evil when Joe framed his protege and the Paco of the season. Up until this point, Joe hadn't hurt anyone he viewed fondly, in a non-romantic sense. R.I.P. Beck. And Love. And Katie. Oh no, she came back. Look at her walking around like she shouldn't have sustained permanent injuries from being unconscious in a burning building that collapsed on itself. After destroying Nadia's life by framing her for her boyfriend's murder, the complete lack of remorse in his eyes as he watched her lose everything was bone-chilling.
Give me your hand. Nadia. Tell them all about me. No one's gonna believe you. Honestly, my greatest pride as a teacher is that I could help you grow.
This felt like a perfect moment for a tonal shift in the show, an opportunity to dive into the complex psychology of a serial killer. You'd think that being the last season, season 5 would have taken a bolder approach to Joe's character and explored more deeply how the act of killing had affected him over time. But no.
I was dissociating!
Of course that was too much to ask for because we went right back to where we started, literally. If I had to cover everything that went wrong with the show, this video would be 3 hours long, and I don't think anyone wants to see that. So comment below anything that had you rolling your eyes while watching the show that you think should have been included in this video. That being said, here's my personal ranking of all the seasons from worst to best. Season 2 was too good, I'd rewatch it any day. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, and if you're interested in sticking around, hit that subscribe button. I also have a video going into Love is Blind or something. This isn't in the script, I'm just ad-libbing, but there should be a video about Love is Blind being recommended to you right now. If you want to go watch it, go watch it. I'm going to post some more videos soon, so if you want to stick around, again, I don't know what else to say. I don't have an outro yet, so okay, bye.